like a crazy afternoon, guys. I just got a phone call from the school principal. And I was like, hi. Hopefully everything's okay at school. Let's find out, okay? Yeah, it's been one of those afternoons. If you hear my son in the background jumping, yeah, he's supposed to be asleep in probably about 30, 40 minutes ago. And apparently that's just not happening on this day. So, anyways, I want to talk to you guys about communication. And I received a phone call today from my child's principal, and I was not expecting a phone call. I had some concerns about an issue at school, nothing safety related. In the grand scheme of things, it was not a big deal, but I still had concerns, and I didn't know who to address, who to communicate my concerns with. So I talked to her teacher, and I wrote an email, and I just asked her to forward my email to whoever needed to hear it, needed to read it. And the next thing you know, today I got an email, I got a call from the principal saying, "Hey, I'm sorry about your concerns. We definitely take our parent feedback very serious in regard to this particular situation, and we want to work with you, on how we can make this situation a better experience for all of our children here at the school." And I have to tell you guys, you know, the original note that I was going to send was not a very pleasant note. I was frustrated. I was frustrated and I was typing in the heat of the moment. And as I got towards the end of my email, I was like, you got to change your words because it's coming across very hostile. And that's not my intent, is to be hostile, because I know that's just coming out of frustration, and it doesn't help anybody involved in the situation. So, I went back and rewrote my email and just kind of condensed it, got to the point to say, hey, I'm kind of frustrated about this situation. I know I'm just one parent, in the grand scheme of things, and I don't know if how much a parent's opinion about this situation really affects the decisions that are being made regarding it. But I just wanted to let you guys know, like, this is how I feel, and I don't want to feel this way, but, that's where I'm at. And he called, and it was a very pleasant conversation, and I'm just, I think back on a lot of the horror stories that I hear about parent teacher or parent administrator relationships, and how they're just nasty on both sides. They're nasty, they're disrespectful, they're contentious on both sides. And I have to tell you guys, in the heat of the moment, my heart is not always pleasant. My heart is not always humble. It is not always respectful. I feel like God kind of reels me back in when I'm ready to, at someone, and allows me to just kind of decompress, gather my wits, and remember that at the end of the day, we're a team. We're a team. School, family, team, for the betterment of my child, and that's the same thing with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver, loved one, whomever, and you have a child in school, you guys are not adversaries. You are teammates, and you have to remember that. And so, even when I am kind of in the heat of the moment and I'm frustrated or I'm angry, I have to take a step back and remember that that principal is not my enemy. That teacher, that administrator, that specialist, they are not my enemy. We are all on the same team. Okay. And so, as I was talking to the principal this afternoon, and he explained to me kind of reasoning why things happened the way they did. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. These are things that I would not know as a parent because I'm not privy to, this background information. But I appreciate the fact that you shared that with me, and I appreciate the fact that you were listening to my concerns. It is very important to me that my school team, teachers, staff, administrators, know how much I appreciate the effort that they put in to this educational process. Okay? Because at the end of the day, they don't have to give their time. Let's be real, guys. He did not have to call me. He could have had somebody else call me, or he could have just not called and communicated with me at all. Like, I mean, we're talking about school pictures. That was my concern, and he did not have to take time out of his day to talk to me, to hear my concerns as a parent, as a special needs parent, but he did, and I'm grateful. And I make sure that every time I talk to my school, they know that I am grateful for their time. They know that I am grateful for the effort that they put in, not just with me as a parent, but with my child. And I'm telling you, that level of genuine humility and genuine gratitude, I feel, has paid off. Now, I am not an instructor. You know, some of you know, some of you don't know. My background is interior design. I mean, I've done some mentoring, but I am not an administrator. I am not a teacher, other than to my children here at home. You know, um, I have a sister that is a teacher. I have friends that are teachers. You know, I hear the horror stories, and it just amazes me the lack of humility on both sides. And I'm telling you, it's if you go into a relationship with your school, with any staff member at that school, and you go in there with a I'm going to show you out, I'm going to prove you wrong, you're going to listen to me type mindset, that's when the fireworks start. And we don't need fireworks. you know, Fireworks are great outside in the summertime, 4th of July in the sky. Fireworks inside of a building causes fire and it destroys. Okay, and that's not what we want. And at this school, we've had our ups and downs. This is year 2 at our school. We've 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 gained teachers, we've lost teachers, we've had changes in our parapros, we've had some ups and downs at our school, you know, and we've had issues with staff members that did not, that wasn't so pleasant at the time. And I'm like, look, guys, first and foremost, there has to be respect. There has to be respect from family to school, but there also has to be respect from school out towards the family. Okay, that's like number one. There has to be mutual respect. I'm not in their shoes; they're not in mine. So how can we come together to, bring closure to a negative situation, or how do we go about working together to advance our child, or your children, in that school for the betterment of that child. And you can't do that if you're constantly angry, if you're constantly disrespectful, if you're like, whatever, you're dismissing them or they're dismissing you. You can't build that relationship, and you have to build that relationship, and outside of respect, another thing is just being honest, finding your voice. Sometimes I think as parents, and again, this is not the case for everybody, but we don't know what to say, and we don't necessarily know how to say it and to whom to say it, and so we hold a lot of stuff in, and then we get to the end of the year and we just explode. I am guilty of it. That was me last year. My daughter had a brand new teacher like halfway through the year, and I kept trying to communicate with this teacher, and she kept like, I ain't got time for you. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Like, you're with my child 7, 8 hours a day. Don't tell me you don't have time. I'm not trying to talk to you every day, but the times that I do want to communicate with you, I need that feedback. It's nobody birthed that child but me. So, don't brush me off. And so there was just no communication, and it built up, built up, built up. And finally, mommy flipped her wig. Maybe not literally, but and I went up to the school and I was like, look, I have issues, not with you telling me that you don't have time. You need to make the time for me. I'm not trying to take 20 minutes out of your day. If I send you an email, it's probably 2 to 3 sentences long. It doesn't take 60 seconds to read that email and say, yes, that's a problem. No, that's not a problem. Everything is okay. Thank you for the heads up. Like, but we got all the way to the end of the year before we were able to sit down face to face and talk, and for her to just hear me out. And I'm telling you, I spent the whole year frustrated. I spent almost the entire year frustrated with her because she would not communicate with me, and then it just built up because I didn't say anything. So it was, negative on both of our parts. She shut me out and I shut down. And what I've learned is that you just have to be willing to step up and speak up. At the end of the day, as a parent, loved one slash caregiver, you are your child's champion. And if you see something that does not sit right with you, especially if you have a child that is as young as my child at 7, they can't speak for themselves. So that is on me to speak for them. And I need to be reminded of that. And once kind of, this teacher and I cleared the air, it was night and day. It went from me not being able to stand this teacher to like, girl, you want to get coffee? But and sometimes there's that miscommunication or lack of communication that causes this, and this does not need to happen. If you're willing to be open, if you're willing to be honest, just to say your piece, but you got to do it in a very non-contentious way. In some situations you might be like, maybe that's your character, but you have to understand there's a time and place for everything. Now, there is a time for you to, flex on people, if you have to, especially if it's the safety, security, and well-being of your child. That's a whole different ballgame, But when you're talking about basic communication, you're talking about, how you have this outside person coming into the school and how they are dealing with your child. Yeah, you have to be open, and you have to lay the groundwork for a positive relationship that you can continue to build on and build on. And you also have to be available. My teacher last year did not make herself available to me, and that was very frustrating. And kind of once we worked through everything, availability has never been an issue again. Whether it's with a teacher or with an administrator or staff member, it's not been an issue. They make themselves available to me because I make myself available to them. My teachers know. I'll tell them, you can call me, text me, email, smoke stacks, Morse code, carrier pigeon, whatever you need to get in contact with me. Do not hesitate. for good or bad. I don't care what the situation is. Do not hesitate. Every method of communication that I have is available to you 24/7. Boom, done. I don't want to hear from anybody, a parent saying, "Oh, well, they can't call me. I don't want them calling on my phone." That's your problem right there. You're not open. Sometimes it's the school that is open, that's trying to establish these relationships with you as a parent, but you have closed yourself off to them. It's not always the school that's at fault, guys. And you have to understand that, okay? It is about building that team so your child's educational journey can be successful. What are you willing to do as a parent, as a caregiver? What are you willing to do? How far are you willing to go to build that relationship? That's the question you have to ask yourself and answer, because it is teamwork. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera, it's teamwork, guys. And if you are not willing to be a part of the team, guess what? The main person that's going to suffer is your child. Period. Period. Okay? So that's what I have to share. Be open, be willing to communicate, be respectful of your administrators, of your teachers. You might not know what they're struggling with. Last year, with all the drama with my daughter's teacher, I didn't know what she was struggling with. And granted, I still don't know the whole story, but when we finally got a chance to sit down and talk, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now why you were like, I don't have time. I understand that now. You have to be willing to have that peace offering, because that unity, that humility, that availability, that teamwork, that is what is going to build your relationship with your school, and that is what is going to help your child succeed. If your child is having problems at school and you have nobody to talk to, then you're going to be mad at school. We're like, well, why didn't you tell me? They got 1,000 students. They got 800 students or 600 students or however big your school is. They don't know if you don't talk to them. That's the deal. They don't know if you don't talk. So you, as a parent, got to be willing to open that mouth and speak up, okay? And speak with humility, not false humility, but genuine humility. And that is going to open the door for you in so many ways, okay? And hopefully we are all mature enough to know that humility does not equal being a doormat, okay? Guys, don't want to hear crazy comments. You can stand firm and be humble, okay? Humility does not mean doormat, all right? So hopefully this little brief chit chat helped someone who is out there in the YouTube universe. If you enjoyed my little chit chat today about communication, definitely thumbs up the video and hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon. That will let you know every time that I upload a video. Okay, if you want to share it, please feel free to share. I will be doing more, real talks. I'm always into real talk. Okay, guys, I'm a real talk kind of person because I know what it's like to live in a world where there is no real talk and it's not pretty. Alrighty, so we'll see you on the next video, and until that time, guys.